There are so many so-called Amazon gurus giving advice on YouTube that it can be overwhelming. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the top 3 Amazon guru strategies that I see on YouTube today. Welcome back to FBA Unfiltered. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I'm an Amazon seller who started selling in 2023. I went on to make over $100,000 in profit in my first 12 months. I'm joined by Rami, who's also an Amazon seller. He's been on the platform since 2017, and he's a multi-7-figure seller. Together, we've partnered to launch this new product on Amazon FBA, and we want to document our step-by-step process here so you can do the same. So let's dive into this video and see which of these Amazon gurus is the king of FBA. So these are the 3 things: determine demand, compare competition, and prove profitability. If you can keep that basic framework in mind, you will do well on your product research. Now, what I briefly want to break down for you are the 3 main frameworks that I see in play on Amazon today, and the 3 main frameworks that I see on YouTube being discussed by various coaches and gurus. I've actually learned a lot from all of these guys that we're going to talk about today, and I've even borrowed some of their ideas. Essentially, what I want to do is learn from as many people as possible and understand the concepts that underlie their success, and then make those concepts my own. And what you're going to notice is that all of these kind of frameworks blend together. There's not a cut and dry distinction between each one. However, I do think it's helpful to identify where these people are coming from so you can have some discernment in the advice that you're going to follow. And again, all of these methods can make you tons and tons of money on Amazon. Okay, so you can't really just say that one is better than the other. Rather, they all have pros and cons, and that's what we're going to discuss today. So the first framework is what I call the private label 2.0 approach. The guy that I think is still promoting this a lot, although there are several, this is probably the most popular framework used, at least from what I can see on Amazon. And this is what I call the private label 2.0 approach. Okay, the private label 2.0 approach is essentially building off the original private label approach, which was to just take generic products and sell them on Amazon with your label, right? You would just find something that was trending, that was popular. You would buy that exact same product from overseas. You would slap your logo on it and you would sell it. This made people a ton of money on Amazon. Okay, so I know people love to hate on private label, but just understand why it was popular. It's because it worked. Now, moving into 2025, we're seeing a shift here in the private label space, which is essentially what I'm calling private label 2.0, where a seller comes into the market, finds a product that's in demand or trending, and they try to offer that product, but with significant improvements. Okay, they try to differentiate their product in some way. Usually, the best way to do this is with a functional improvement to the product, so it works better. Also important though, because of Amazon's listings and how people search for things on Amazon, it's also helpful if you can be different in appearance. So if you can distinguish yourself by having a product that's functionally better and by having a product that looks better, or at least looks very different and is marketed to a specific customer avatar, you can have success with this method. So let's see what Dan Voss has to say. Again, I learned a lot from Dan. I'm not affiliated with him, but I just think, he's obviously an OG in the space. You've probably come across his videos if you've been doing any sort of research. And so let's see what he has to say, and I'll let him explain the private label 2.0 approach in his own words.
So I can see here this Alino RGB laptop cooling pad is making $91,000 a month. And if I go on Alibaba and I put it in, right, RGB laptop cooling pad. By the way, quick note, I wouldn't just take the same product and just sell it on Amazon and try to directly compete with it. No, I would actually contact the supplier and figure out a way to make it better. And I'm actually making a lot of product improvement videos as well on the Ecom Academy channel and in the Amazon Pro course coming up at the end of the summer. There's a whole specific art to it. You have to improve your product. You cannot just sell something that already exists and copy and paste it basically, right?
All right, so you can see there, he's basically saying exactly what I was talking about with private label 2.0, where essentially he's finding products that are trending, he's contacting manufacturers, and he's trying to find a way to improve those products so that he can sell a similar product and capitalize upon that very proven demand. So that brings me to the pros and cons of the private label 2.0 approach. So the pro is that you have a very, very solid understanding of the demand for this product, right? Because similar products are already selling. You can go on Helium 10 or Jungle Scout and you can see exactly how much revenue, how many people are searching those keywords. It makes it so you have a very, very firm foundation of proven demand that you can go forward and capitalize upon. And the con associated with private label 2.0 is just like what he mentioned, or what you could probably guess, which is you have to work to stand out from the competition. Because there are already products selling, obviously that product already exists. So you have to come in and find a way to stand out from the competition. So I would say that is the potential con of private label 2.0 is really finding a way to stand out from the competition. Now, like I said, you can make tons of money with this approach. Many people have. Dan Voss has. He's taught other people how to do it. I don't have anything against him. I think his content is great and I've learned a lot from him. I just want to point out what the pros and cons are for each of these frameworks. So moving on to the next framework, this is what I'm going to call the one of one product. With this approach, essentially what you're doing is finding keywords that people are searching for on Amazon to buy a product, but that product doesn't yet exist. Okay, a variation of this is to find a popular keyword or two popular keywords that people are searching for on Amazon, but a combination of them does not exist. Right? So for example, what we're going to see here today is Travis Marziani, okay, with the Passion Product Formula. Again, learned a ton from him and his YouTube content. I think he's great. He's made a lot of money. He's also taught a lot of people how to make a lot of money. So nothing against Travis. I just want to point out the pros and cons of this approach. And the approach is essentially that you're going to either find something that people are looking for that does not exist and then offer that thing, or you're going to try to find a popular keyword and pair it with another popular keyword. So let's see Travis explain this in his own words. I hope you're enjoying the video. If you'd like to follow along with the step-by-step new seller checklist you've seen on screen, you can get your own copy for free. The link is in the description.
To making money on Amazon is to understand that Amazon is just a search engine. People go to Amazon to search for things that they want to buy. And if you can figure out what people are searching for, you can sell them that exact product. For instance, recently, I was looking at doing the carnivore diet. So I typed in carnivore diet, and we can see that over 9,000 people per month are searching for carnivore diet. The key here is you want to find a product that has a lot of search volume, and the search volume is in this column over here, but does not have any product existing on Amazon. And when I was scrolling through this list, I found an idea for a product called carnivore electrolytes. And I saw that over 500 people per month were searching for carnivore electrolytes. But when I searched for that in Amazon, there was no product that existed.
All right, so that's the idea of the one of one product, right? I think he explained it very well in his own words. This concept that essentially you're going to try to find a product that people want to buy, but is not yet available on Amazon. So the key here is that they are searching for this product, but it does not exist. So what are the pros and cons of this approach? Well, the pro is that you are going to be in a niche of one, right? You are going to be launching a product that nobody else has launched. So if you can successfully do this, you will not have any competition, or your competition will be very, very low. So that is obviously a huge pro for this approach. However, the con of this approach is it can be much more difficult to accurately determine demand. And this is where I see a lot of students make a mistake when approaching a product launch with this methodology, is they come out of left field with some incredible idea that they have, and they get very attached to this idea. They get very attached to the idea that nobody else is doing it. They think it's so great, but then they go through all the hassle of launching it and it doesn't make sales. Why? Because they didn't accurately determine the demand. So that's the main con of this one of one product approach. It's much harder to determine demand. You don't have as much data. You don't have as much proof, right? Because the product doesn't exist. There might very well be a good reason why the product doesn't exist, right? If there is a lot of demand and no product exists, you should kind of have a little, like the hairs on the back of your neck should stand up a little bit. And you should go, maybe there's a reason why this product doesn't exist. Now, there might not be a reason. Maybe that is an opportunity, but just keep in mind that you really have to do your due diligence and determine the demand of a one of one product before you go ahead and launch it, right? So pros for the one of one product is that you have very low competition or potentially no competition. Cons are that it's very hard to determine demand. All right, I hope all this is making sense. Let's move on to the third framework that I see happening right now, and this is the killer brand approach, or what I'm calling the killer brand approach. These are all my terms, okay? Don't get attached to the terms. They're not like trademarked. I don't know if anybody else talks about it this way. This is just how I'm referring to each one of these concepts. But this killer brand idea, I think, is best articulated right now by the guys over at Honest FBA. I think his name is Alex. Again, These guys made great content. I've learned a lot from them. I think they're awesome. I don't have anything against them. They're making a ton of money on Amazon, and I think they also have a coaching program, and I'm sure their students are also making a lot of money. So great guys, great content. Nothing against them. I just want to highlight each of these different frameworks so that you can understand the concepts that underlie product research at a fundamental level. So let's see what Alex has to say in his own words about the killer brand approach.
Or a non-subscription based product. Could you do a product that's historically aimed at women or historically aimed at men, and you flip it on its head and you aim it at the opposite demographic, and you do all of the branding around that? Because, this is probably going to be 95% women that buy this, right? Probably even higher. But they don't care about that because they want to appeal specifically to women, and they know women want to build a big old booty. That's why they're always doing those glute exercises and stuff in the gym, innit? Another important concept for kind of the future of Amazon brands and all that type of stuff, right, is, in my opinion, if you really want to kill it, if you really want to do these sorts of numbers and you want to build a big brand, you really need to be building external traffic. Now, all of these companies that are absolutely killing it, they are building external traffic. They are doing meta ads. They are doing TikTok ads. So if you search create creatine on TikTok, you'll see videos like this, right? I don't think you'll be able to hear this, but basically this woman is saying, ladies, if you go to the gym and you're not taking creatine, what the hell are you doing with your life? She is educating her audience on why they should use creatine. And this is one of Dan's strategies, was sending this product to tons of influencers.
Okay, that's Alex with Honest FBA going over, in his own words, this killer brand approach. His focus is much more about building the brand and much less about the actual product. It's all about, can we take an existing product and try to market it to a different customer avatar? Okay, so let's go over the pros and cons of this approach. The pro is that you've got a really good baseline for determining demand, right? These products are usually already selling a lot of units. So like creatine gummies, as he was pointing out, tons of people buying them. So you can really establish a firm foundation of demand. Another pro of this is that you are intentionally going out of your way to essentially, as he said, flip the product on its head, or rather flip the branding on its head, right? And appeal to a completely different customer avatar. So in a sense, you are really standing out from the competition in this way, not by changing the product, but instead by changing the branding, by changing the customer avatar that you are focused on serving. However, as he alluded to, the con of this approach is that you have to do a lot of off Amazon marketing, right? So you have to build brand awareness and educate customers. Why does that have to occur off Amazon? Because Amazon is notoriously terrible at being a place for showcasing your brand and educating customers about your product. You have very little space to work with on Amazon, right? You get your 5 or 7 listing images, and then now you can do a couple listing videos, and then you just get your bullet points and your A+ content, and that's pretty much it. So it's very hard to effectively educate customers, particularly the customer education part, right? Which sounds fancy, but really, if a customer doesn't understand, for instance, that if they're a woman and they don't understand what creatine is and why they could benefit from it as a woman, they're going to think that your creatine product is for men. All of that education has to take place off Amazon, as well as the whole brand building, right? Because you are going to try to craft a website that really showcases your brand. And so between working with influencers and affiliates and crafting your own brand, you are doing a lot of work off Amazon, which begs the question, why use Amazon at all, right? Because Amazon is going to take a pretty big cut of your revenue because they're going to charge you fees for using their platform. So that, I would say, is the con, and not even going into the complexity and the costs associated with launching a brand in this capacity, right? This brings a lot of other things into the mix. So it's much more complicated, I would say, than just listing a product on Amazon and letting Amazon do the work, letting Amazon bring you the customers and letting the keyword search traffic drive those customers to your product. With the killer brand approach, you have to do a lot of that legwork. So that's the main con with the killer brand approach. But you can see, again, all these people are making great money. All of these approaches can work. I just want you to understand the fundamentals of each so that you can understand what's going on when you're trying to do product research. What are the pros and cons of each approach? I want you to be approach agnostic, okay? I don't want you to get stuck with any one of these approaches because all of them work. They're just different takes on the same basic fundamental framework, which is determining demand, comparing competition, improving profitability. All right, that's it for the video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please leave a like. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out when our new product goes live next week and we break down our first week of sales numbers. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.